The Rushenoi Pulemyot Kalashnikova, or Kalashnikov handheld machine gun, came to be when in the 1950s the Soviet military was researching for a replacement for the RPD light machine gun that was deemed unreliable and cumbersome. Once more, Mikhail Kalashnikov answered the call to arms from Mother Russia, and so the RPK came to be. Being a modified version of the AKM assault rifle, the RPK is somewhat identical, but with some considerable differences, such as the thicker, heavier receiver that enhanced reliability, a longer barrel that facilitated longer and more accurate bursts. Its accuracy was further enhanced by the longer sight radius. The muzzle was threaded and allowed for the addition of the standard slant-cut muzzle brake of the AKM, as well as the PBS-01 suppressor employed by Spetsnaz and other flash hiders. A bipod was issued as well, and this would be attached to the front end of the barrel, right behind the front sight post. The buttstock was bulkier and longer to facilitate firing the gun from a supported position, say on a pile of sandbags. Finally, since the RPK was meant to fulfill the role of a squad automatic weapon, larger magazines were procured. A 40-round curved box stamped steel magazine and a 45-round drum magazine were issued depending on the role the gunner needed the RPK to perform. Well, in Battlefield 4 originally, the RPK was one of these less commendable guns. The RPK-12, its counterpart, could trump it just by ammo count alone, having a 60-round quad-stack magazine plus one in a chamber. What made it really weird was that the RPK in Battlefield 4, although having the name RPK-74M and stats accordingly, had in fact the model of a 7.62 by 39mm RPK, wood stock and all that jazz, and no side mounting rail for optics. And not a 74M with its polymer stock and side rail, which, by the way, you can still attach sights in Battlefield 4 somehow without that rail system, yet the gun used the rail system for mounting the sights instead of replacing the top dust cover with a Picatinny railed one. Thankfully, Dice L.A decided to correct this by giving it a stat overall. They still haven't changed the name or the fact that in the description of the gun it says 7.62 by 39 by 54mm R, the same kind of round the PKP fires in the SVD-12. That's probably a typo. They meant to put in the 7.62 by 39 by WP instead of that. Somehow somebody got it wrong. So, let's look at these stats. Damage-wise, the RPK packs a serious punch, dealing 30 damage up to 8 meters, when it then starts to drop off until 65 meters, then dealing 20 damage, which makes it a 4-shot kill up to 36 meters and a 2-shot headshot up to 44 meters. The recoil is also manageable with a .36 vertical, 0.3 to the left and 0.2 to the right, with a multiplier of only 1.25. Which, added in the fact that the rate of fire is only 600, makes this gun extremely easy to control. Yeah, although I do have to admit I had some trouble initially controlling that yank to the left. Accuracy-wise, the RPK is a 40-round assault rifle with extra damage and range, with a base spread of 0.2, standard with all assault rifles, and a spread increase of only 0.094 to rival assault rifles themselves. These stats, with an awesome muzzle velocity of 600 meters, makes the machine gun a medium-range powerhouse. However, I gotta say, the RPK-74M, as called in game, I'm just gonna call it RPK here on out, can be improved upon with a heavy barrel. Now, I'm a big fan of the heavy barrel since it does improve a lot of your accuracy, but and the RPK just turns into a laser beam since the recoil increase to 0.468 is nothing too serious. But the accuracy improvement is considerable. your spread increase will get reduced to 0.086, your base spread to 0.1, that is DMR range now, and your moving penalty will get reduced from 1.5 to 1.3. That is some seriously good stuff right there. Which means you're still not going to be as accurate as if you had a carbine or a PDW while moving, but now you can take a couple of steps as you strafe to dodge incoming fire, or just if you're trying to flank a position and you have to engage a target that popped out of nowhere. It's a pretty good improvement in my opinion. Now you do need to keep in mind that the reload animation does take some time, this still being a light machine gun. And to compensate for the extended magazine to 30 rounds, it will take you 4.2 seconds if all the ammunition is depleted, and 3.15 seconds if you still have a round in the chamber. Now it isn't as bad as other machine guns, like the PKP 5.5 second reload, but it can still get you killed if you do not pull back or take cover, or have somebody beside you to cover you while you go through the reload animation. Now, all this in mind, you'll end up having a pretty good flanking weapon, and I don't think you should go head-on combat with this gun, being a machine gun. It is not a dedicated aggressive gun, but if you can get a flank on an enemy squad, you can easily take them all out with a single magazine, no problem. It's a 4-shot kill to the body up to 36 meters, and if you're gonna get damn close, you're guaranteed to get those kills, up to 5, even 6 kills if necessary. Now, one other thing I noticed is that, and I mentioned this earlier, you might see I am using the PKAS sights in some clips, and the Cobra sights and others. Fun fact, the version of the RPK that we have in game does not have a side mounting rail. So that quick detach extension that we have on the gun where the PKS is mounted on could not be used in real life. You cannot do that. Now there is a version, which is the RPK-N, that allows that, but that is not the one we have in game. As you can see in the gun model in the loadout menu, if you do not have a sight equipped, you will see there is absence of a side mounting rail, like you can see on the AN-94 and the AEK and the AKM in Battlefield Hardline. But overall, I do enjoy this gun a lot. I gotta say, it's my favorite light machine gun at the moment, because it does give me an opportunity to go aggressive with it, whilst my second favorite light machine gun in the game, the PKP, which I basically ranted about in my previous review, does not. Damage-wise, I do deem this gun to be pretty good at the majority of engagements. If you're playing defensively, if you're playing aggressively, the rate of fire might get you, as well as the reload being. Therefore, I'm gonna have to agree with some other YouTubers here and say that the gun is still more efficient in a defensive playstyle. So basically, yeah, do get your flanks on your enemies and all, but do not go against them head on. It just does not deal enough DPS to really drop people that way. Actually, no light machine gun, being mag-fed or belt-fed, is now capable of dealing with enemies in an aggressive head-on firefight. But I do think the RPK is really worth using, and I mean, it's just a fun gun. Well guys, that concludes my review. Hope you guys do give this gun a try, and have a nice one.